Whew, bloody hell, it's hot. Wonder how the heroic Harley's getting on.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So in this video, I'm trying to get into the shade, because it's scorching in the UK and temperatures are soared up, unusually high for us over here. And just it's affecting the Harley a little bit. Yeah, hotter temperatures, thinner air is not good for engines. You know, colder air, more bang for your buck and all that kind of stuff. But what I really wanted to talk about was actually how to get more performance out of your bike right from the off. Brand new bike. And is there anything that you can do that changes the way it will perform later in its life? So that got me thinking about breaking in the bike. There's lots of myths about breaking in engines and breaking in bikes, and I just wondered, you know, if there's anything that I could do. Now the book says basically up to 50 miles, you maximum 70 miles an hour in top gear at 3,000 RPM. After that, up to 450 miles, maximum RPM 3,580 miles an hour. Oh, well and good. There are other RPM speed configurations, but essentially those are the two that you really need to work out. Now, two schools of thought. Either you pretty much go hell for leather on it pretty much straight away, so you get everything bedded in and loosened up really quickly, or you go in gently. Now basically the manual is telling you to go in gently, and you want to go through lots of different RPM ranges, lots of speed ranges, riding it on different roads, so you're just putting the engine through its paces. You're not getting it too hot, you're not having massive temperature variations very quickly, because essentially that's when an engine is going to fail, or most likely to fail. You know, at sudden power changes. If you look at race car engines or race bike engines or drag engines, something like that, basically they pop at very sudden power changes. That's when it's most likely to occur. So the running in period, the braking in period, is trying to avoid that. It's trying to bed the bike in, bed the engine in gradually. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. That actually seems quite sensible. But the problem is, does it actually mean that you'll get a slower engine? Now, when I was a kid, the general consensus was, and this is all anecdotal evidence, was say, well, actually, if you start to open it up a little bit more during that, the sort of the halfway point or the second, third of your running in period, start to get faster, start to push the envelope on what is recommended, then you're going to get a faster engine. Anecdotally, people say that's happened. I'm not so sure myself. There's also anecdotal evidence to say that actually it doesn't matter how you run your engine in, whether you're running in fast up to the red line or whether you're running it gradually, it has no effect on it whatsoever. One of the big problems is obviously if you say to, you know, new riders, new owners, yeah, just run it in as fast as you want, then also anything can happen. People can have crashes, all that kind of stuff, which means it leads me on to the next thing. What is braking in? Are you braking in the engine? Are you just trying to seat the piston rings to the cylinder walls, you know, so you don't lose any gas, you don't lose any oil the other way, so you're not losing engine performance? Or are you trying to bed in the whole bike? Let's not forget, you know, you got other parts of the engine need to bed in. The clutch needs to bed in. You know, the drive, the belt, the tires definitely need to be bedded in. What else? You know, what else needs to be bedded in on this bike? You know, everything on that bike needs time to, you know, work itself loose a little bit. And I think that's what you've got to consider when you're braking in a bike. It's about that. Now, if you're talking about braking in an engine, that's different to braking in a bike. Braking in an engine is because you really want to have the internal parts of that engine all lubed up, time to wear out, time to smooth over the rough edges. Once you get that first oil change, you're getting out all the gunk, any sort of metal deposits out of there. Then you've got a clean running engine after that. But to brake in a bike, what's the best way? I think possibly, really, if you stick to what the manual tells you to do, then, you know, you're on a sure bet. Is there any evidence that you can get a faster engine by, you know, pushing the envelope a little bit earlier? it'll be anecdotal. There's no way to prove it really. You'd have to test 1,000 engines in one way and 1,000 engines against another way to actually get a positive answer there, I think. Just testing one engine against another isn't really good enough. But anyway, that's how you're breaking in a bike and breaking an engine. But I tell you what a lot of people forget is when you get a new bike and you're breaking it in, you're not only breaking in the bike, but you're breaking yourself in as well onto that bike. One of the big things is that you need to learn how to ride it. You need to learn, you know, about its braking. That's another thing. You need to break in the brakes as well. Bed those in. But you know, you're learning how to ride it. You're learning, you know, where it works, how it accelerates, how it acts in the bends. And a part of these videos, which I'm bringing you right now, it's all about that process, about learning how to ride this thing. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been riding. I've been riding for 40 years. That doesn't mean I know how to ride this. And I say, and when anybody asks me about breaking in a bike or riding a new bike for the first time, I say, give yourself a year to ride that bike. And people say, what? That's crazy, you know, to learn a year, you know, to ride a bike. I said, well, yeah, because you want to ride it throughout all conditions, all through the seasons. That's when you'll know, have a real good idea of what that bike is. And the longer you have that bike, the better acquainted you become with it. So really, you never stop learning. And I think that's the way you got to look at it. You know, breaking in a bike is not only about breaking in the mechanicals of that bike, but it's also breaking in your acquaintance with it. You know, you're getting used to it. Anyway, well, I hope this helps. I hope you, you know, answers a few questions. It's not only about breaking in the mechanicals, it's about getting used to the riding as well. Right, anyway. Well, that's enough about me and breaking in this bike. I'm just about to get out the road and open it up a little bit to get a faster engine. Right, catch you on the next video whenever it is. Please subscribe, share, all that kind of stuff, like and whatever. Leave loads of comments. Let me know what you think about breaking in engines or breaking in bikes as well. And catch you on the next video whenever that is. Check out the website, RevelatorAlf.com. Bye.
RevelatorAlf.